Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 5 tonight. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
And I'm Whitney Ward. Thank you for being here. We begin tonight as the towns of Malden and Pine City are continuing to rebuild after devastating wildfire 3 years ago. It was on Labor Day of 2020. The Bab Road fire devastated those two towns. Nearly
70 homes were lost and countless memories destroyed. But today the community took a major step in its recovery to come back stronger than ever. Our Janelle Finch will have that story coming up momentarily. In the meantime, we will move on to our next story tonight.
That is the West Howlett wildfire that continues to smolder tonight in South Spokane County near Eagle Ridge. According to the Washington Department of Natural Resources, that fire burned about 155 acres since it sparked yesterday afternoon. As of last night, it was 90% lined, but it is still considered 0% contained. Level 2 and Level 3 evacuation still in place for about 20 homes tonight near Cheney Spokane Road. The fire burned through heavy timber and grassland yesterday, driven by wind and dry conditions. Conditions were much better today, though the fire is still burning in some areas tonight. Aerial crews were also still on hand assisting ground crews this afternoon. And we will continue this coverage tonight at 5:15, also where we bring you more to a story about a man who saw the South Spokane fire and then jumped into action to try and help fire crews on scene. That story is coming up tonight. Meanwhile, crews fighting the Bluff fire burning in Okanogan County near Oroville are making some progress, but there's a lot of work ahead as that fire has so far burned 15,000 acres along the U.S.-Canada border. New today, several evacuation orders, though, have been downgraded. Everyone along State Route 97 in that area is now at a level 1, which means you just need to be watching for changing conditions around you. And more good news, the feds just approved funding to help fight this fire. It is just 10% contained as of right now. Crews continue to tackle that fire from the ground and from the air and on both sides of the border.
Currently, our #1 priority is the focus on that east side, which is close to where that order has been put in place. The first priority is always human life and safety, and then you get into properties, and then you get into environmental values, and then the timber values. Hundreds of U.S. and Canadian firefighters are battling that Eagle Bluff fire, but because of hot, dry, and windy conditions, it continues to push into Canada, which is already having its worst fire season on record. We will continue to follow this story and bring you updates around the clock on our website. Just head to KREM.com. And on that note, let's talk weather with Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo as our hot, dry conditions continue. Yes, Jeremy, what's in store here for the rest of this week?
Well, the rest of the week winds up looking similar to where we are right now, and then eventually things do change, but for the next couple of days, it's more of this. Hot, hazy, hard pressed to find any cloud cover, and a little bit of that wildfire smoke lingering in the low levels of the atmosphere. Right now, air quality sits at a 54 in terms of AQI. That's the lower end of moderate. We've been watching this throughout much of the day. Things are looking pretty good because crews were able to get a big jump on that West Howlett fire, but moderate to good is likely where we stay over the course of the next 24 hours. The reason? Just light wind. It's going to be hot and dry, but wind remains rather light across much of the inland northwest. Temperatures up near 90 degrees means it is still very hot, in addition to being very dry. Overall, we don't see much. All of that moisture tends to stay off to the south, but eventually some of this moisture is going to work its way up toward us, and that is kind of Friday, Saturday, we are going to see our temperatures drop because of it. But for now, just know it's more of the same. Tomorrow, 93 and a bit hazy. Thursday, mostly sunny. It's likely also hazy as well. And then Friday, we get that shift in the weather pattern. Temperatures trend a little bit cooler as those clouds move in. Chance of showers Friday night and Saturday.
All right, sounds good, Jeremy. Thank you very much. Well, today is Washington State's primary election, and time is running out with only 3 hours to get your ballot in. KREM 2's chief journalist Amanda Rowley is live in the field tonight talking to election officials about how they are working to keep this year's primaries secure. Amanda?
Yeah, hi Mark and Whitney. We're at the Spokane County Elections Office. Behind me, it's a little bit of a calm before the storm. Just a few minutes ago, there were quite a few folks here working on this belt, processing the ballots that have been hand-delivered or mailed in. Processing quite a bit, and there's quite a few people here on the other side of that area shuffling through all the ballots, checking signatures, removing those envelopes, and so they have the security envelope, taking several steps to make sure that your ballot is secure. Take a look. They're hard at work tonight. Now the activity, it kind of comes to an end at 8 o'clock. That's when you need to have your ballot in before. That is the deadline to drop them off at a drop box. Now, as I mentioned, The Spokane County Elections Office takes the security of your ballot very seriously. In fact, today I talked to Auditor Vicki Dalton, and she explained to me the steps that her office takes to make sure that your ballot is secure. Take a listen.
There's always two people with ballots at all times. Nobody's ever alone with a voted ballot or a blank ballot. We go through great steps to maintain the secrecy of your vote. That's why we put that security envelope in with your ballot and your return envelope so that nobody can see your vote and your name as we're slitting envelopes open.
Two people, a signature, a security ballot, just one of the many steps that the office has taken to make sure that your ballot is secure. Now, she had mentioned there's people collecting those ballots from boxes. Starting at 8 o'clock, there will be 52 people spread out across the county total collecting your ballots from those drop boxes. And again, as Vicki had mentioned, there will always be two people collecting and around those bundles of ballots, making sure that no one is ever left alone with those ballots. Again, this is kind of where the magic happens, guys. This is where your vote comes to count. Now, I asked Vicki, what's the way, how have they been able to track just the accuracy and how seriously they have taken the security of your ballot? She says every time they do a recount, the numbers match, the numbers don't lie. So it really reiterates the steps that they're taking here. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Good to know, Amanda. Thank you very much. Now still